Good day, educators. I want to know how are you doing? Well, I know very well that this pandemic has been tough for you. Every one of us are a victim of the crisis that we continue to face. And I hope you are okay. You guys have been exhausted for doing all these sacrifices. However, please remember that your silent battles, lonely fights, and all your efforts are valued and are worth it. To all my fellow pre-service teachers, like what my professor once said, success is a painful process. And we are all in the making of success. And if we will be able to endure all the pain and all the struggles we are experiencing in today's living, then we will succeed. I want you all to know that we got this. We are founding the future of the world and we cannot just give up so easily. As a pre-service teacher, I never really thought of myself becoming a teacher. Like never. Ever since I was in high school, I would tell myself, I don't want to be a teacher. Maybe the lower rate of salary take place. But what really the reason behind this despicable perception was I would always think that teacher will be students all their life. They would spend their life studying from preschooling to college, and even when they got a job, they will still be studying. I think that was the frustrating part, and it was exhausting. Like, I would never be happy in this profession. Even when I got into college and got enrolled into College of Education, I was hesitant. I cannot internalize myself as a teacher. I was not able to build my social skills. What more so if I would be an actual teacher? I had doubts like, will I continue pursuing this? Or will I be able to do this? Another reason is that I was afraid of the disrespect the students would display. I can afford to be disrespected, and I was afraid to take a risk. However, as I got into the long run, bound with experiences such as rejections, struggles, and have even come to a point where studying doesn't feel like learning anymore. Like you're down in your lonely nights and would sleep worrying for school and waking up having the same feeling. And of course, there's the happiness. That is when I decided to become a teacher for real and with all the heart. And I would always remember what Sir Ron Clark said. The world is in need of good teachers. As a teacher, your principle, how you behave, and your total attitude depending on the successful delivery of the lesson and how students would cope up and gain knowledge with it. The question here is that how would you make it possible? How would you assess the student's background? I am still in the process of becoming a teacher, but I always believed that my primary role as a teacher is to highly observe and behold inclusivity in education. We were once students, and first and foremost, we should be the one to understand what a student is going through. I don't know if other people experienced this, but I was too afraid to approach a teacher. And I got even more frightened when I missed an exam, one of my subject. When I told the teacher the reason behind it, the teacher just scolded me like, where in the world am I? Why didn't I ask anyone? And even more traumatizing words the teacher had thrown at me. I don't know if that was the teacher's way of motivating me or waking me up. I don't know. But it's not the way it hits me. Even when I got the chance to take the exam, I cannot help but to be sad. I was too shy, and I have this side of me regretful for I explained what happened. From then, my fear to ask a teacher skyrocketed from the ground. I would tell myself, no, do not try. Inclusivity in education is a major course to obtain in order to be a teacher. And why would other teachers do not conform to this? Do they think it will not affect the student's acquisition of knowledge. If they think the way like that, then they are wired wrong all along. And we should not be like this. This need to stop. Second, do not proselyte the students. It is clearly stated in the Code of Ethics that proselyting the student is colossally prohibited. I have this friend who was the same social group as me, and this teacher said that our religion is a fraud, that theirs was the truth, because their population has the most numbers of believers. In my opinion, having the most numbers of devotees doesn't make yours the righteous religion. We cannot really tell if a religion is a fraud or the absolute truth. It is a teaching that was passed from generation to generation. But the one thing I can say is, every other social group believes their religion is the truth alone. In our way of life, we are told to respect one religion and another. I think other religion also does the same thing. It's just the believer who crosses the line. Going back to my friend who was also told something like a lame or dirty religion for observing polygamy by another teacher. But I want every other teacher and everyone who would watch this, that polygamy in our religion is not the way they think it is. First, men only do this, but they cannot just do this because of their desires and personal interest. Yes, it is true that Muslim men can marry up to 4 wives in accordance with our late prophet's life. Second, they can only marry another woman if they are capable of providing a good life. Third, they only marry another woman to lift him up, like those of the widowed and those who doesn't have parents with them anymore. And to the teacher, life is not the way you think it is. Even when we were told to fight for our religion, to even sacrifice our life, that friend cannot do something like to the friend because she was only a student, and that students will remain student while teachers dominates. That is when do not set boundaries for student-teacher relationship take place. Do not ever think like you owe their life, and without you they could not graduate. I don't even know why these teachers chose to be teacher. Do they deserve to be one? Probably not. And you will never know its impact on the students both mentally and in their future. Third, do not deprive the education. Education is not a privilege. It is a human right, said by Amir Khan in his role as Sir Nikam in an Indian movie to awaken teachers in the people. We could not just reject the student because of their condition. I too was once rejected to enroll because I was diagnosed with tuberculosis. That I can take the course because my illness would refrain me. That I can't do it, and my classmate might catch my illness. Does that make sense? You just cut off the student's dream to graduate with that title. Instead of being the guiding light of for the youth, you ruin them. To all the practicing teachers, please be more flexible and have more understanding. I repeat, do not deprive education. Fourth, the individual differences. The classroom is dynamic, and so people are, but one thing could not change is their identity. They have different culture, their tradition, ethnic and social groups, and not everyone was given the chance to be a fast learner. Some of them stick to what they were taught in life, and some was not able to discover their capabilities just yet. And as a teacher, we should be the one to stand for themselves. Encourage them to explore in order to gain knowledge. You should not set them in one setting. They have different skills and knowledge to cultivate. Fifth, be strategic. One thing I have learned during my teaching demonstration is that providing rewards to students is really a productive and an interactive discussion. I witness how my acting students get excited to listen and learn, and the happiness on their faces whenever I give them candies they deserve after answering or when they ask question. So if you can think of a way more strategy, then please do. The students will be motivated to listen and acquisition of knowledge will be possible. And it is a great way to assess their understanding or mastery of the content. Sixth, provide positive feedback. In my experience as a student, I always get excited and happiness follows there after reading the positive feedback the teacher gave me. And they said, "Great work." I cannot hide my happiness. And I would tell myself, I did great and I can't believe this. And if the student did not meet the rubrics, you can still provide feedback in a motivational way like, you can do more, you can still improve, or you are creative and I know you got this. Something like that. I think that's a great way to reinforce the student's total development. Seventh, teach because you love teaching, not because you need to leave. Because, in my opinion, you cannot do all this I mentioned earlier if you're not bound to teach or do not love teaching. Love is the foundation of everything in this world. Family cannot stand without love, and family is the small unit of society. And without love, no family, no community, and there is no nation. Like a body without a skeleton. Can you imagine that? The same applies to teaching. No growth, no development for students. And for you, there is no satisfaction. Therefore, be compassionate for teaching or in teaching. The teachers are silhouettes of the heroes. And if we will be able to empower and embody all those I mentioned earlier, isolation towards the students could not foster. We can have an open classroom environment where learning and a productive delivery of the lesson will be nurtured. Wouldn't that be great? Of course it is. For all the pre-service teachers and practicing teachers, this is our calling. Teaching is a public service and we are to serve for a purpose. I hope we can all observe this inside our learning environment. Thank you.